Today I want to give you a sneak peek into my pantry and my fridge. I get a lot of emails from moms and a lot of messages asking me how I prepare food for not only myself to stay healthy and well, but also for my kiddos. I know sometimes it can be daunting when you're thinking about meal prep for the week, but I promise you it's a lot easier if you have the right foods. I shop at Trader Joe's because I think that Trader Joe's is definitely one of the more budget-friendly places to shop. We have H-E-B here in Texas, which can be kind of expensive, especially if you buy prepared foods, but Trader Joe's has everything prepared for you, a lot of times in individually packaged things. And then also it's all, organic and clean for the most part. You can definitely find organic options there, but they're cheaper than a lot of other places. But if you don't have a Trader Joe's near you, I still want to show you the types of things that I consider staple items that I get. I'm kind of a creature of habit. I get almost the same things every week. Typically after I grocery shop, I do a little meal prep for the week. I'm not doing that today because it is a gorgeous Saturday in Austin and I plan to enjoy my day. But I want to show you kind of what I do, and I'll tell you a little bit about how I use the items, that I buy for my family, and how I prepare things to get ready for the week ahead. The boys are not here, so it is a little bit easier for me to do this post today. But I want to show you just kind of my pantry here, and I'll go through. So this coconut milk, I also have almond milk in the fridge, and I make golden milk with that, and it's just a cup of coconut milk, a cup of almond milk, and then I boil it on the stove, and I put in cinnamon, a little bit of ginger, not too much because ginger has kind of a weird flavor, and turmeric, and just kind of stir it together. You can put a little bit of black pepper if you like, but all of those spices have a lot of nutrition. Turmeric is really great. It's an antioxidant, and it has anti-inflammatory properties to it. It's called golden milk. You can look up recipes on Pinterest. Actually, I have it on my Pinterest board if you want to. And then I make a little bit of it at a time, or sometimes I'll make a big batch of it and just store it in a thermos in the fridge, and then I just sip on it in the mornings. It's a great way to start your system without having too much caffeine. And it's kind of filling actually, because coconut milk has a lot of fat in it. And so if you're doing like intermittent fasting, it might be a better thing to, kind of quiet those morning tummy growls until you get your system used to intermittent fasting. So some other things that I always buy, I usually get an Alfredo sauce because my boys love this with like tuna or ground turkey on some pasta. I love this salsa right here. I make ranchero chicken by just dumping this over chicken in a crock pot and cooking it on low. It's like one of the best things to do. And then you've got ranchero chicken that you can put in corn tortillas, or you can eat plain, just put like beans and corn and cilantro on it, maybe some avocado, and then you have like a little taco bowl without all the gluten. I also have bone broth because I like to cook some of my meals with bone broth. This is organic bone broth, and it's really, really, really good for you. And then pizza sauce. So I make little pizza bites for the boys and for myself with the pizza sauce. Sometimes I chop up zucchini and I bread it with panko crumbs, or I do it with eggplant. Sometimes I bought an eggplant this week because they were on sale. Slice it up, cook it, roast down a little bit, like 400 degrees in the oven for about 10 or 15 minutes until it's soft, and then put the sauce on the top, the pizza sauce. Sometimes I put black olives or mushroom on the eggplant because it's a lot larger space, and then I top with like a cashew or almond mozzarella cheese. If you eat regular cheese, that's fine, and we do sometimes as well, but every now and then I just feel like getting a little bit of extra dairy-free protein, and I use cashew mozzarella on that, and then just put it back in the oven until it's like boiling a little bit or kind of brown at the top. The cheese are so good. But if you're craving pizza, like I always am, that's usually what I do. I love to get these artichokes as well. These you can get the grilled ones, or you probably have like marinated artichoke hearts at your store. I like to put them in a pan with like sardines, but I'm kind of a weirdo. That's really, really, really good for you though if you do that. Otherwise, they're good if you bread them with panko crumbs and then roast in the oven at about 400 degrees for about 20 minutes, and then they're kind of crunchy. But they're also good just straight out of the jar. This is like one of my favorite little snacks when I'm coming home and I'm like, oh my God, I need something filling. Because they're marinated in olive oil, you're also getting a lot of really good fats and nutrition from the olive oil. I love to eat fats. In fact, if you've watched my healthy twin pregnancy video, I talk a lot about how I ate fats during my pregnancy, but I didn't eat junk food. And that's really important. If you are pregnant or if you're nursing, you need fats, and good healthy fats are not something to shy away from. In fact, I attribute eating fats to my skin and my hair and my energy. So definitely don't shy away from fats. This right here, this is Natural Calm. I get this at Whole Foods. You might even be able to get it at Trader Joe's or your regular store. This is good for energy and calm, anxiety, good sleep. Put a little teaspoon of this in your water at night before you go to bed and you'll sleep like a baby. It's got really great vitamins in there. I'm such a weirdo. I always have tuna and sardines and anchovies. If you see those back there, anchovies are so good for you. Not a lot of people can handle the flavor. If you can just chop them up a little bit and add them to a salad, like a Caesar salad, of course, there's already anchovy flavor in that. Or you can add them to your pizza bites. I like to just put them in a pan or even eat them by themselves. They're really good for you. Sardines sometimes are a staple for me. When I travel, I just throw a bunch of sardines, tuna, or anchovy cans, any kind of canned fish. I'll just like throw in my bag in case I'm stuck at the hotel. And it's so much better than going down into the lobby and getting like, you know, whatever junk food they have or from the vending machine, and they can be eaten straight out of the can if you can't heat them up. But what I love to do with sardines, especially these ones that are cooked in the oil. Oh my God, I hope I don't make a huge mess here. Okay, I love these in the oil. I actually broil them in the can. So you put your oven on broil, add a little bit of lemon juice, sometimes rosemary, black pepper, and then fresh garlic or whatever herbs you have around. The herbs, remember, herbs and spices are super good for you. Like that's a part of staying healthy and well is eating a lot of herbs and spices, right? So then I broil them in the can. And then I open it and dump it onto a plate and I'll put it with like greens or salad or if you eat grains, then you can put like quinoa or rice, whatever kind of grains you eat, they're really good. Don't knock it till you've tried it, especially broil in the can. It tastes so much better when they're heated. And then the oils and sugars kind of caramelize on it. So trust me on that one. So I'm not a big pasta eater. I'm trying not to eat any bread, but sometimes when I'm in a pinch, the boys love this, like I said, with the Alfredo sauce and like tuna, and then I'll put like peas or mushrooms. You can add more nutrition to it. I always have oatmeal for those busy mornings that you just need to throw something in a bowl. It takes like a minute and a half. Trader Joe's oatmeal is clean. I keep coconut flour around in case you need to bake something. This is a gluten-free option. I always have a lot of Asian seasonings because I feel like Asian food can be a lot more healthy. Sometimes you can add a ton of vegetables. If you do eat meat, sometimes you chop up like some chicken, and it's really easy just to add like sesame oil or fish sauce. They're usually low in calorie and they have some good oils and spices and again, herbs that are really good for you, for your wellness. I always keep rolled oats around. You can add these to smoothies or I make protein bites. If you're pregnant or a nursing mother, the protein bite recipe is on another video. But I love to make like these no-bake protein balls with my boys, and I really mix up what I add to them, but I always add chia seeds, which are super, super, super good for you. If you haven't had, if you don't have chia seeds in your house, you need to get them, especially if you're pregnant or nursing. Get yourself some chia seeds, sprinkle it on anything that will hold still because they're so good for you. But my no-bake protein balls, it's just a cup of oatmeal, half a cup of peanut butter or almond butter. I usually have like almond butter, sunflower seed butter, and then a quarter cup of honey. And then you can add, that's just the base. Okay, so a cup of oatmeal, half a cup of peanut butter, a quarter cup of honey. A natural honey will work, and that's actually good for your allergies if you have like local unfiltered honey. And then you can add whatever else nutrition you want. You can add turmeric again, cinnamon, chia seeds, hemp seeds, flax seeds, or some things that I add to it sometimes to kind of soak it up and get everything kind of mushy together. Every now and then I'll add like cranberries, possibly, even though that's really high in sugar, but my boys love them in there. Sometimes I'll add cocoa powder, or you can add like some chopped up apples or something. There's lots of recipes on Pinterest on what to do with no-bake protein balls, but if you're pregnant or nursing, actually if you're nursing, add brewer's yeast. And I think there was something else, I can't remember what I added, but there's a video on it that helps your lactation, or boost your lactation and your milk supply. So that's another video if you want to look for that. I think it's titled breastfeeding, and then it talks about my no-bake lactation balls. So that's pretty much it for the pantry, and then I'll show you what I have in my fridge. I don't have a lot of things in the freezer because sometimes freezer foods just aren't good for you. They're often, processed, or because they're frozen, they might have lost some of their nutritional value. It's always recommended to eat healthy whole foods right up front, like almost as soon as they've been picked. That's why farmers markets are really good for you because they haven't really traveled. They haven't lost a lot of their nutritional value. Fresh and whole is the best thing for you. Some of my favorite dressings, I love this one from Trader Joe's, the almond butter dressing right there. The Green Goddess one is really good, but be careful with Trader Joe's because they don't use additives and preservatives. Only buy what you know for sure you're gonna eat because it will go bad pretty quickly. I also keep like a spaghetti sauce around because Even though I don't eat a lot of pasta, spaghetti sauce is really good on meatballs, and I'll make meatballs sometimes. Sometimes I make them with meat because I do eat meat, but sometimes if I'm trying to get more nutrition, I'll do like mushrooms and lentils and some nuts, and I'll cook them down and then roll them and bake them like meatballs, and then top them with like a vodka marinara is so good, and a little bit of that vegan cheese, or if you eat regular cheese, mozzarella and Parmesan is really good on that. I always keep like a chili paste too, just to kind of spice up some food, because when you're trying to eat healthy, sometimes you want like a little spice, right? Like more flavor. And I also love, Trader Joe's has this like crunchy, don't think I have it today, like a crunchy sauce that you can add to stuff. I actually don't remember what it's called. Sorry about that. But I love beets. I do beets with goat cheese. Those are really good for endurance. I always make boiled eggs, like soft boiled eggs. Put them in the water. This is how you do the best boiled eggs. Put them in the water when they're cold, right? And cold water on the top to be covered. And then boil them. As soon as the water starts to boil, set a timer for about 4 minutes and like covered. As soon as it starts boiling, turn the water off and let them cook for about 4 minutes in the boiled water, and then flash them with like ice and cold water, and they're the best. They're perfect, like soft boiled, still kind of mushy and nice. They don't get that gray tone to them. My boys love these from Trader Joe's as well. Again, we're talking about how to have nutritious, healthy foods that are easy to grab. I always have these. I try to make snack bags for them ahead of time. I have the Itsy Ritsy Snack Happens bags, which are reusable. Actually, I have one on the counter that I was preparing for the week. I do a couple of these. I put banana chips, cashews, almonds, cranberries. Sometimes I'll add like some chia seeds in there, maybe raisins. I'm not a huge fan of raisins. I think they're really bad for you, but these are organic cranberries in there. And I keep those ready so that those mornings where I am rushed, I don't have to feel like I need to grab a bag of chips or animal crackers or something that's actually, really bad and harmful for your kiddos. I have those prepared. They just go straight into the lunchbox, and they've got, little things that they can munch on. Because I think sometimes kids, they eat their lunches really fast at school, and then they think they're still hungry because maybe everybody else is still eating, and so they eat more than they normally would. But this allows them to kind of just, munch a little bit and snack on things that are really good for them. So I like beets with goat cheese are one of my favorite things. The eggplant, I make my pizza bites. I always have mushrooms. Mushrooms are really good, especially if you're a family that does not vaccinate. We eat a ton of garlic, onions of all different kinds, shallots, red onion, white onion, yellow onion, mushrooms of all different varieties are really good for you. They're also good for brain power. I keep lots of herbs around. I love to make red potatoes in the morning, so there's some red potatoes back there. Snap peas are good just to shove in a snack bag and take with you. I keep a lot of feta cheese around because I love to put tomato, cucumber, olive, avocado, and like these endive, or I don't know how you actually say it, these. I just kind of cut those up and put it all together with olive oil and feta cheese, sometimes a little bit of lime or lemon on the top, and then the everything but the bagel seasoning is so good. And then I just eat like a big bowl of that. It's really filling, and then you're not eating a bunch of junk food. My boys love yogurt. Yogurt is really good for your gut health as well. I have a variety of pickles and sauerkraut. Ladies, eating yogurt and pickles and sauerkraut is really good for your feminine health as well. So it's important to have those things around. Like I said, I make golden milk here with almond milk. But all those pickles back there, that is because Cannon, my son, will eat like a jar of pickles like in a day. Like if I let him just go at it, he would finish those all off. I don't know how it doesn't make him sick. He loves them. I have papaya because you can take the girl out of the jungle, but you can't take the jungle out of the girl. I love papaya. I fell in love with it in Costa Rica, and I just cannot get enough of it. Here's the meat that we do eat. I would say I probably only eat like maybe 1 serving of meat. It's usually at dinner. I try not to eat too much meat, because it's just not good for your gut health. You need to be eating most of your nutrition. If you're trying for health and wellness and energy, it's really good to get the bulk of your nutrition from plants. I'm definitely not vegan, but I would say I'm a plant-based eater, because if you're eating a lot of meat, yeah, there's nutrition value, but not very much. You're not getting all of the bacteria and the biomes and all of the healthiness for your gut health. And so I'm trying to eat as many plants and nuts and seeds, veggies and things like that for the bulk of my diet. And then sometimes at dinner, I'm just like ravishing, and I need a cow, right? And so it's not for like animal rights reasons, although I do think that we need to change the way that we treat animals and farm animals and everything like that. I'm definitely an advocate for that, but that's not why I'm vegan. I'm really vegan or plant-based for optimum health. But I do have some flank steak in here. I'll just put some bone broth on it with some garlic. Sometimes I'll throw some mushrooms into the crock pot, cook it on low. Again, we're talking about how to get through the week healthy and fast. I always food prep my turkey ahead of time because I'm not a huge fan of ground turkey. It's really bland, but I will cook it and then store it cooked with like a lot of garlic and mushroom salt, pepper, things like that. And then I keep it around just to like sprinkle on a salad or mix with my scrambled eggs in the morning with some cheese and salsa. I can eat it like that because it's actually like really good for you. But that might be my turkey serving of the day. Or to save money, I'll split it in half and mix it with ground beef and then make meatballs that way. Or I'll mix it with beef and do some sliders because, you know, like I said, it's kind of dry when it's by itself. But it is good for you, and it keeps your stomach full whenever you really do need something more hearty in your day. Chicken, I make sometimes ahead of time. I do the ranchero chicken, or I'll saute it on the stove. I'll do an Asian chicken sometimes. But again, for budget, you don't cook the whole chicken in one night for your family because chicken doesn't really keep very well. I just kind of divide the chicken up, and then we do like half the chicken one night, half the chicken the other night, or sometimes it'll give me at least 3 meals. I'll put a little bit of pulled chicken aside for a salad, or I mix it with pesto and top with tomatoes and olives, some onions, and then sometimes like a little bit of mozzarella, but I'll put that together and I'll eat it cold throughout the week. But that is a really great way to save money, is to divide up your meats. And then the bulk of your family's meal can be lots of vegetables. Sometimes my kids will get like a couple of pieces of chicken, right? And then avocado, cucumber, tomato, mushroom, risotto, quinoa, whatever else, apple slices, like that'll be their meal. Their dinner is a ton of fruits and vegetables and then like a little bit of the meat because they're growing boys. They freaking love meat. I try to do a plant-based like vegan diet for them and I think they were starving and I was starting to feel like really guilty as a mom. So I also keep romaine lettuce leaves. If you want to cook like tacos one night and skip the shell, that's a really great thing to do. Or sometimes I'll put bacon and then like tomato, cheese, a bunch of other vegetables, and then you have like a little lettuce wrap. That's really great to do as well. Tuna can be good in there if you want to make some tuna salad or chicken salad ahead of time. Wrap them up in romaine leaves instead of a sandwich is a great option. I'm gonna let you into my non-vegan drawer. It's easy if you don't have time to like make sandwiches for your kids. My kids love sandwiches. They love turkey and cheese sandwiches, but sometimes if I don't have time for that, then I just grab like half of this because there's 2 of them. That's probably more than enough for one child. Some of this, and then I just grab like a cheese stick and I'll throw that into a bag, and that's part of their lunch for the day. It's really easy to do. We do keep some cheese sticks around. Oh, there are my cherries. I couldn't find these today, and I was actually really worried that they didn't give me my cherries. Again, frozen fruit can be good if you're in a pinch. I'll put some of this, just drop it into a reusable jar, and then by the time the kids want to eat it at school, it's thawed out, because cherries don't keep well, and you have to buy them in like a huge bag of like $9 bag of cherries. I'm like, there's no way we're going to eat $9 worth of cherries this week without making ourselves sick. But then you have things that you can just kind of throw into a smoothie as well. I always have frozen fruit. Peaches are really good, mango, pineapple, because then if you put them in a bag, they're still cold by the time they get to school and they don't got all like soggy and stinky and smelly. And sometimes fresh food just doesn't keep, or you buy just enough and then 4 days later you're like, oh, I got to go to the store, we're out of fruit. If you have frozen fruit, then you have what you need. In a pinch, it's not the best though. Like I said at the beginning, you do want to have fresh food around, but that's if you're in a pinch. But some fruit is better than no fruit. Frozen fruit is better than no fruit. I do keep a lot of fresh fruits though. This, believe it or not, will only last us like 3 days. Like my kids eat so much fruit. It's very expensive, but it is so good for you and it's worth it. It's better than having cancer. Buy yourself some fruit. These are really great. I grab these when I'm in a pinch. If I have more time, then I'll make like a little fruit salad with chopped up some apples or strawberries and then the berries as well. But again, if you're in a pinch, you just got to get out the door and make sure you have some fruit for the day. That's when I grab the apples or the oranges to throw into their lunch for the day. Basil's really good with tomatoes. I'm gonna try making some cauliflower tacos this week. I always have cucumber, I have kale, and some onions. I love to make kale ahead of time because kale is kind of like, I don't know who says they like kale. I'm not a huge fan of kale. I think it needs like a lot of doctoring up, but I like to massage it with olive oil and lemon. because it makes it really soft and it kind of has time to soften the leaves and soak up the flavors and stuff. And then throughout the week, I might put a little bit of it in a bowl with berries. Like I do berries and a blackberry honey on the top of it. It's actually really, really, really good for you. And I'll do like sunflower seeds, chia seeds, or some almonds on it. Or kale can be really good with like a savory, like a feta cheese and some onion or something like that. But I kind of have a sweet tooth, and kale is like kale and berries with a little bit of a honey. Orange blossom honey is good on it as well. A little bit of feta cheese too. Then it tastes like to me, feels like you're having a dessert. So I love these meatless patties from Trader Joe's. Those are good when you're in a pinch. Takes like 45 seconds to heat them up in the morning. And then I'll put like an egg on the top of them, or I do, like I said, I do hard-boiled eggs in advance. So if I'm in a pinch in the morning, I throw those in the microwave for like 45 seconds to a minute, boiled egg, and then like a cheese stick or something and a bunch of fruit, and we're good for the day. And it takes like a minute. So we do not do cereal. I wouldn't recommend cereal for your kids. One, we know that dairy is really bad. Milk is really bad for your kiddos. I have like a whole YouTube video on milk and why kiddos don't really need it if they're eating healthy, well, nutritious food. But we don't do cereal also because there's a lot of preservatives and additives and grains and sugar and just things that are bad for your gut health. And that's just not the right way to start the day with a sugary, grainy, processed food, and then you're gonna add milk on top of it. It's just really, really bad. And I normally like don't have a judgment, but I would say when I see people give their kids sugar, I kind of cringe because I'm like, oh my God, that's just setting them up for disaster all day. They're gonna crash later. They're gonna be hungry. So if you can, try to give your kids like oatmeal, fruit, yogurt, eggs, something really hearty in the morning is best for them, and avoid the sugar. There's not a lot in my freezer because I probably will go to the store again later this week, and I might get some freezer options, but I do have peas that I like to add to my tuna and Alfredo farfalle that I make sometimes. So that's a peek into my pantry and my fridge. You probably took some notes. Hopefully you did, because I know that was a lot of information, but I'm definitely an advocate for health and wellness. And I don't think that being a busy mom is really an excuse not to feed your kids what's really good for them. It does take a little bit of planning, making a list ahead of times until you kind of get the rhythm down. I can get into the store and out in 20 minutes flat because I grab the same things all the time. I mix up what I do with the ingredients, but I definitely do buy a lot of the superfoods, nut butters, fruits and vegetables, grains and things like that, and get creative with how I use them. But nutrition is just, really important for your overall energy, your sleep, your health, your wellness, your drive, and it keeps us going strong. And as moms and as women, we got to take care of ourselves before we can take care of everybody else in our lives. But if you have any questions, shoot me an email and let me know, what else you'd like to know about with health and wellness. But nutrition is the most important thing that I think you can do for yourselves and your kids. You can check out my blog at Whole Heart Crunchy Parenting, or on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, Whole Heart Crunchy Parenting. Thank you. Be well.